Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another video on Starseed Academy. My name is Jenny. So today we are doing 2023 predictions. So there's a lot that I want to cover, so I do want to jump right in. And I want to just beforehand remind you to please share this video for others to find. I really appreciate that. And then also don't forget to subscribe to this channel for new videos every single Sunday. And then what else did I want to say? When you see this, I'm filming this the night before. You're going to see this tomorrow on Sunday. So I want you to know that if you have been interested in the Channeler of Light course, this is the last week for the pre-sale. Okay, so if you have any questions about that, please reach out to me. You can message me on Instagram. You can email me. You can comment on this video. I will see it. But if it's something that you've been like feeling a bit of a soul nudge, something that you've been considering, this is a great week to join. Now, of course, you can sign up after this week. It's just that it's a really great deal during the pre-sale. There's a huge discount. Okay. All right. So, and I'm super looking forward to that because teaching people to channel is like my favorite thing ever. Okay. And then anything else? I've got a weekly energy report going out tomorrow on Monday. So don't forget to sign up. There's a link below where you can do that. These energy reports, I put so much into the channeled messages. And there's also like a more personal side to them where I show some behind the scenes of things that I'm going through or working on, which I think is helpful, right? We all can help each other in that way. So make sure that you sign up for those. All right. So I'm going to actually pull up notes for this. I know I usually just go off the cuff, but I actually have notes for today because there was so much that came through for these 2023 predictions. And I'll be honest, there's some sensitive material in here. So I don't know if you want to, get ready emotionally, or get a pen and paper if that helps you. So because of that, I do want to start out by saying that there is always timeline potentials. Okay, so we're jumping in now to the video. All right, so 2023, let's talk 2023. So first things first, I want to share with you highest timeline potential versus what I'm going to call a challenge timeline potential. Now, I feel strongly that both of these timelines are going to lead us to the shift that needs to take place, which will be in 2024. Which I'm going to share with you some 2024 like sneak peek predictions at the end of the 2023. So stick around for that because it's a big deal. But before we can get to 2024, we do have to get through this next year. Now, I've always known that from 2020 to 2024, those 4 years were extremely important and filled with so much change, so many shifts, so much energy coming in, like a lot is going to have to happen. So again, I'm going to share higher timeline potential, challenge timeline potential, how to prepare for either one. It would be the same kind of preparations. Preparing now, knowing that the world can change in a matter of months, what maybe you thought it would take years to create. So I think that we learned that lesson in 2020. Okay. That in a matter of 1 month, maybe 2, the entire world changed, and everything, our freedoms, the way that everything, literally everything, like health, politics, borders, freedoms, the entire world, everything changed within a couple of months. So just know that, and let's prepare, for either eventuality because of that. You don't want to leave things until, I like to, I think, just be one of those people that's like, well, if I need to change anything, if I need to prepare in any way, then I'll know, I'll get like a sense of it beforehand. I just want to say, let this be that sense, let this be that sign now that the preparations that I talk about later on in the video, you should probably, I think it's pretty important to get those in place. Okay. And not from a fear place at all, but just from a knowledge place and an empowerment place. All right. So I think we should start with the highest timeline potential because I feel like I really want to lean into, I just got to download. I channeled this beforehand and I took these notes. And I was going to read them because if you saw my last video about the moon, you know that sometimes when I channel live, things can be a little all over. And this seemed like important to get all in a row because of, like I said, there's some sensitive stuff in here. But I just got a little download as I was talking to you guys about how if this potentially what I'm talking about is one timeline that holds higher level things and challenges. Okay, so I really don't, no one knows. Okay. So when you're going and watching videos and posts like this one, where people are saying, oh, I'm going to give you some predictions for the next year, even card readings, you know, if you're getting a personalized one or you're watching public ones about like the collective, just like this one, just know that things can always shift because we cannot tell the fortune. Fortune telling is not possible when one decision can shift a timeline, right? And we've all seen that again, the last like 2 years, we've done 2 years of the 4 years that are going to be the big challenge. We're halfway there. So basically my point is just to say that, please know that these predictions are what's in place right now, but everything can shift. And if that happens, and I feel like maybe it will be important to do like a part 2 to this video, but I feel confident enough to share this amount with you. So highest timeline potential versus challenge timeline potential. They could be 2 different timelines or they could happen simultaneously. And I don't know. And no one knows. Like you can't know that answer, but we can talk about these potentials. So here we go. All right, so talking highest potentials right now for the next year. Okay, the subheading, higher level disclosure. So what is higher level disclosure? So not just lights in the sky, like the videos that we've been getting that people are calling like disclosure. No, not just lights in the sky, but recorded communication with off-world beings getting released. Wouldn't that be exciting? And like, what would that even sound like? Would that just sound like static or would that sound like voices? I don't know, but that's what came through. So again, a higher level disclosure, this one being recorded communication with off-world beings getting released and it being known that they are meeting with our government officials and have been for who knows how long, and that getting released. Why? Because this is a necessary step before they allow themselves to be seen, to get people used to the idea that they're there, they're real, they're aware of us. Like if a lot of the population is not even there, it needs to like gently roll out. So a bit of a gentle rollout would be, okay, some released audio, probably just audio recordings. So instead of just all these lights in the sky that anybody could kind of write off as, oh, it's probably nothing, like something a little more like audio that you can hear and that you know is a communication, like a back and forth to something not on our planet. Okay, so cool. I freaking love that idea. Okay, the next higher level disclosure is a deeper interpretation and study of crop circles. And that us understanding that they have always been instructions to move us forward technologically. So people that have been either studying this already and kind of keeping it, releasing that, or a new study that takes place, either way, starting to study crop circles more deeply, interpreting them more accurately, and realizing that they are instructions for us. And it's all about how to move forward with our tech, with our world, advancing us, right? To advance us. Okay. And then finding out about these crop circles, finding out that secret military groups have already been building from these blueprints. So I know that you guys all know that they have lots of technology that they don't share with us, like stargates, craft, and many other things. And this is probably how they've had all of that information, right? And why crop circles are strangely guarded. And yeah, like I'm just getting this vision of like the military, like taking like extensive photographic evidence of everything for all of them, knowing that it's more than what they say it is, right? It's instructions. It's instructions how to build things, technological, scientific things. And they've already been doing it. But somehow this is going to be released. Okay. And I also love this idea. Okay. And then the next thing is a new way of receiving these communications through the internet so that everyone has access. And maybe that's how the disclosure happens. Internet crop circles, right? So that means that the crop circles can start to be dropped by off-world beings somehow through the internet instead of like fields, like it had to be in the olden days. Internet crop circles. What is that? I actually don't know, but let's remember this because something like that is coming. Throughout human history, alien technology has been shared to take us to our next level. And we are moving now through, like, I know that right now we're going through the darker time of the purge, but we have to have a collapse and a breakdown before we can create something new. So we might be in a bit of a breakdown moment with our society, but the creating something new kind of has to overlap with that. And so a lot of the time, right before a golden era here on Earth, like Lemuria, even in Atlantis and ancient Egypt, I've seen a ton of off-world alien influence with our technology, and how we use that is up to us. And using it with balance and in the light is going to be our responsibility. And I hope that we succeed with that. I hope that the right people are in power, or the right majority of people understand what it means to be responsible with this new tech that is going to be so powerful. So think, though, in a good way, think free, clean energy for all. I mean, that's of course a basic. And I do think that that's on the way. Okay. So still on highest timeline, moving away from disclosure stuff. The next heading would be the rise of the awakened. So this has already begun, where we're seeing people, awakening souls, leaving the 9-to-5, getting sober, healing ancestral and family wounds, getting support in quantum healing. So that means getting healing on the outside and on the inside, healing back in time and into the future, like quantum healing. And like getting support in that, like not trying to do it all on our own, like supporting one another, going and getting healings, going and getting the counseling, going and doing the mindset work, the hypnotherapy, the whatever it is. That's the rise of the awakened. Because when we do this, we set ourselves free to rise. And I just want to say, like, in the last month, I have had so many people message me privately or connect with me and say that they are either moving through the addiction right now to sobriety and on their way to that, and they're in the thick of it, but they're doing it, or they feel like they've just kind of got their something under their belt, like their 30 days or their 60 days or whatever. And like, it makes me so happy and so proud, because I know that is like when the big stuff happens. That's what happened for me. Because truly, like, if you really want to raise your vibration, if you really want to embrace what your magic, your gifts are, your psychic gifts, your ability to do this work, to be a great healer, to be a channeler, to get your own business going, spiritual business, and get out of that 9-to-5, that would be like the first thing you would need to do. Get sober, get healed, get I don't know, setting yourself free, get unbound, I guess, unbound from that. So, and people are doing it. And I feel like it's happening more and more and more. And it makes me really happy that I can help people in any of that, but especially with things like PTSD and addiction and family abuse and religious trauma. Those are the things that I'm like a specialist in, because it's happened to me. So I'm just really, really happy to see that it's the rise of the awakened has already begun, and they know intrinsically, deeply within themselves, that they have to start with healing themselves first before they can break free in a lot of ways. So in doing this, we set ourselves free to rise, and we are the leaders. We are the leaders. We are the examples. We are the new earth citizens. We've already started. We have already started, and we'll be ready. Okay, so it's like we feel the urgency. We're doing that inner work. We're ready. It's happening. Like, I feel proud to be on that side of history and to help people get there too. So amazing stuff. So that's the highest timeline potentials that I have for you. All the disclosure stuff, the the recorded communications with off-world beings getting released, finding out that they've, already been meeting with our government officials, and that being a necessary step so that people can get used to the fact that they're there before like the physical disclosure happens. And then that deeper study and interpretation of crop circles being instructions to move us forward technologically, finding out that they have been blueprints all along, and then getting new ways of receiving these communications through the internet, which I'm now calling, I've decided to label it internet crop circles. And then the rise of the awakened, getting sober, getting healed, moving through your stuff, getting out of the victim mentality and empowering yourself, leaving that 9 to 5, setting ourselves free to rise. Okay, good. So now let's talk about the challenge timeline potentials that could be coming up. Got quite a bit of detail that came through on that. And I just want you to know I'm not personally interpreting this. I'm going to read it to you exactly as it came through word for word, because I want to be careful. I want to be careful because I don't know the deeper meanings of all of this. Some of it feels very layered in meaning. Some of it feels and so I want you to come to your own conclusions. You know what I mean? So I'm not, this is not my interpretation. I'm just going to read you exactly what came through word for word. Okay. So the first thing is, it was called World Forum Collapse. Okay. So, and I don't know, like I said, I don't know how do you want to take that, but I'll describe what came through. So World Forum Collapse. A breakdown in stylized public relations that is a farce. It's all a show. So a breakdown in stylized public relations that is a farce. It's all a show. Okay. So the breakdown is the farce, but it's all a show. So I saw a vision of men from different backgrounds in different nations putting on an illusion of anger and division while they were in public, but behind closed doors, they're shaking hands over cigars and whiskey. Big political leaders. This feels very related to war, NATO, and the World Economic Forum. This collapse of relations, or this farce of collapse of relations, is meant to create fear frequency in the collective around safety and peace coming to an end. It's meant to pull apart countrymen. It's meant to create division. It's meant to create a window for an enforcement of new management and new rules, more control over us, new management, new rules, more control of our freedoms as they test us and our breaking points and what we are willing to accept with our trade industry, our food industry, and our borders. Okay. So again, it feels very related to the World Economic Forum, NATO, the war, and this collapse of relations is a show. But it will be put across like it's a real thing, and that it's this really big deal, but it's like agreed upon, All right. So that is one of the challenges that could be coming up this year. And it makes sense too that they said, I just had another little thing coming through. It makes sense too that they said that the collapse of the relations was meant to create a fear frequency around our safety, and that peace would be ending. So isn't the World Economic Forum and NATO all supposed to help with peace? Or what other really big organization that has more than one, like multiple countries involved, connected in it, is supposed to stand for peace that could have a breakdown and cause like an immense amount of fear, and it still be staged, right? Okay. All right. So some kind of collapse with those bigger organizations to give them more pull. Okay. The next thing is, I'm just calling it the event. I don't know what the event will be, but here's what it'll feel like. So the event is another planned attack to downshift our timeline back into an unawakened state or into a lower frequency. So an event that would plummet the frequency again in the collective. And how do they do that? They always use either fear or anger. It's one of those two. I feel like it's always one of those two. So they either make you hate each other or they make you afraid of each other. And that could be within your own country or facing other countries. Okay, so this event is another planned attack. Planned. It's all a show. So it's an attack on the flame of awakening within all of us. It's a lot spiritual warfare. This is real. It's the real reason behind the very 3D things. And no, a lot of people, I was going to say no one knows. We know, but the collective, the majority, they don't know. That's what it is. And when they watch the news and they read the newspaper and they get all riled, they're feeding into it. So on a small scale, this event is orchestrated collaborative media programming to brainwash and divide on something that's going to be, what happened for the last 2 years, the C word. It's going to be something different, but it could be, I don't know. I just don't know. It's going to be something worldwide, big like that. That was worldwide, right? It's going to be something like that. So it's an event, it's planned, it's an attack on our frequency, it's an attack on the awakening that's happening. Small scale is that the orchestrated collaborative media programming to brainwash us and divide us. Large scale, a staged event in Washington involving the president and the vice president. And that's all they gave me. A staged event in Washington involving the president and the vice president. So let's see through that when it happens. I know that you will. Let's not get caught up in the division because that happens so fast when they purposefully spin two sides to get people they don't care what side you choose. They just want you divided from your fellow humans. They just don't want humanity to unite because we would be so powerful. We will be so powerful when we do. All right. So again, to sum up, although I do have more to share with you, to sum up, the highest timeline potentials are the high-level disclosures that we talked about and the rise of the awakened. The challenge timeline potentials are the World Forum collapse and this staged event. All right. So let this not cause fear, but rather empower you because it's why you're here. So deep inside, you carry the knowledge that you've come to Earth during a time of great transformation through societal collapse. So if that's how the great transformation is happening, then we have to allow a societal collapse. The collapse of an entire society means that the conveniences and the comforts and our ways of doing things are going to be interrupted, just as they were the last 2 years. And I just want to say, preparation right now does not have to be fear-based. It can be an empowering thing. And a societal collapse does warrant you having a stash of food, water or filters, tools, cash. Have something, because if you don't need it, great. But if you do, if you know deep within, if we all have this wisdom, us awakened starseeds and light workers, if we have the wisdom within that we came here to break down the old matrix AI systems and the way that the unbelievable dark agendas and greed and selfishness and corruption that permeates our entire government, political, financial systems, peacekeeping systems, like it's all fake and it's all meant to control and enslave in a way. The media, the health system, if none of it's good, then it all has to go. And oh, I got chills when I said that. If it all has to go, then it has to fall apart. And if it falls apart, it might get uncomfortable. And that's okay. It's not about fear. Can we see things falling apart as a victory? Can we know that the new earth rises from the ashes like a phoenix? Can you see, and instead of shaking your head in fear and grief as it collapses, like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Look at the world. And we've all been there, me included, crying our eyes out over all the hard things. Can we flip that on its head and say, we're right on track? Like, can we feel a little bit victorious even as it falls apart, knowing that good, it had to go good. It's friggin' dark and evil. It's so filled with bullshit agendas. I want it gone. I do. And if that means, some sacrifice or discomfort about the way that how easy the world has been, for maybe being able to travel or use a bank account or, I don't know, the internet. I don't know. But a societal collapse means, like, there it goes. And here we are left standing. So that warrants you taking care of yourself. Have a little call it a new earth ready stash. Like, can we give it a good name? And then it's not about fear. It's not like, oh no, emergency kit. It's like new earth is coming in kit, like new earth, rebirth, phoenix flame. Like, here we go, excitement. But let's still have that. I currently don't have nearly enough of that. And I think that just this message coming through, I literally said to Spirit when this came through, I was talking to the Council for Humanity, and I said to them, I don't want to say this. I don't want to incite fear. And they said to me, do you not think a societal collapse would warrant people having a bit of a stash? Like, come on, Jenny. If this helps someone, say it. I'm like, oh, I don't want to be that channel. I don't want to be that. But I'm not instilling fear. Because they kind of helped me through that. And they kind of, by saying to me, did you not know when you came here? Do you not really feel deep within that that is the information that you came here with? That wisdom, that soulfulness, like what's in here? We know we were here to like break shit down and rebuild it. Great transformation through collapse, rebirth through death. This society does have to go. The people and the framework, all of it. I'm not saying that this needs to be an apocalypse situation where the buildings crash. I'm saying the systems and the people and the agendas, it's all got to get stripped away. And we need to change the way that we communicate with one another and who's in charge of things and who we trust and how things get voted into play and all of it, just all of it. So anyway, all right. Preparation is empowering. Preparation is warranted. Preparation is the new earth coming to be. Okay. So a little peek now into 2024 that I promised, because I feel like this 2023 might be a bit of a deja vu for the last 2 years, but just in different flavors, but kind of the same bullshit. But hopefully, and I'm really leaning into some of that really new exciting stuff about disclosure, because that would just be like the light for all of us, wouldn't it? Like something to really enjoy. Okay, so 2024. So in April 8th, actually, I can get very specific with you. April 8th of 2024 is the Great North American Eclipse. It is enormous. It's like the largest eclipse that's ever happened or something. It's like 45 minutes. It's bringing with it a huge shift in the masculine to the feminine energies and in the lunar to the solar energies. And it's going to really help create balance, a more healthy balance in the human collective. That also happens to be 2024, also happens to be an election year in the US, and it will be affected by this ascension, very powerful ascension vortex. So a vortex is a powerful surge of energy or a center of energy. There's vortexes all around the world. A lot of the time they build sacred sites on vortexes, like on different ley lines and different things like that. But a vortex can be created through astrological events. So when people say things like portal, that's not really accurate, like, oh, Lionsgate portal or this 1111 portal. It's not a portal, it's a vortex. So a portal is something you travel through, and a vortex is like a spinning energy that amplifies things. So this Great North American eclipse is an amplifier. It is a vortex, and it will absolutely affect the election year. And the US does kind of like hold sway in a lot of other world politics. They're kind of one of the main power players. So it does matter. Okay. After that election, after the 2024 election, we will begin to see changes in the 3D pillars, the main structures that govern humanity, being political, financial, pharmaceutical, food industries, and land ownership. So the main pillars that govern humanity. So again, there has to be a collapse. Okay. So, we've got a big 2 years ahead of us, a really big 2 years ahead of us. And, but like I said, we are being ushered into a golden era, AKA New Earth, and we will absolutely, absolutely have benevolent extraterrestrial assistance. Do I think they're going to fly down here and save us? No, it's up to us to do that. And that's why we are rising. Like I was talking about, like New Earth leaders, we are those New Earth citizens, awakened souls, we are rising. We are healing ourselves. We are preparing. We are getting ready. However, because of things like the new tech and just also being a part of larger federations that include different civilizations and us getting to have a place in that, you know, in the Galactic Federation of Light and in other big councils where humanity and Earth can now hold a place, have a place. We need to be in a golden era of high frequency to be allowed to do that. So we will absolutely have benevolent extraterrestrial assistance, just like we did with Lemuria, just like we did with Avalon. And it is up to us to really be responsible with that so that we don't have a replay of the fall of Atlantis. But that kind of timeline, oh, I got another chill when I said that. So much is coming. Like that timeline, though, the Lemuria golden era that led to the Atlantis, we need to be more responsible, but we're getting another go at it. Okay, so the main timeline will be their priority, these benevolent extraterrestrials that are coming through with like new tech and showing us new ways of setting up probably like the politics and the societal pillars. The main timeline of the collective of humanity will be their priority. They can't assist everyone on their personal timeline. So it's up to you to align your personal timeline with your highest self and potential. So really think about that. No one is coming to save you. Though there will be great shifts on the collective, your personal timeline affects you the most. You have to, it's up to you, and you can do it. You can align to your highest self and your highest timeline. So really think about this. What are the soul nudges that you've been receiving? Is it to stop something, to quit an old habit, to get out of your 9 to 5, to drop a toxic friendship, to set up some kind of boundaries with some other toxic relationship? Is it about healing your family? Is it about going back into your childhood and finally dealing with it? Is it about past life healing? Like, where's the witch wounds? Where's the darkness? Where's the shadow work? Where's the addiction? What needs to happen? Because all of that, it's all a frequency, and it can all be measured, and it will all keep you down. It will pull you down. And it is up to you. It is your responsibility to rise. So what are the soul nudges you are receiving? Because they may seem like small actions now, but those smallest shifts can and will alter your timeline exponentially. Me just making little shifts has completely changed my timeline. One decision changes everything. Like, I'm the perfect example of that. One decision to start a YouTube channel changed so much for me. One decision to get sober, which I did have to make that decision kind of over and over and over again, but I stuck with it, changed everything. It gave me the fire and the spirit and the high frequency to really start using my channel and my gifts to connect with them, which gave me the resources to unplug from the 9 to 5 and start my own business. It's like one small decision was a landslide for all the good. So what is your next smallest step that you need to take? It is up to you to personally align so that you can really be that new Earth citizen and participate. And it's why you're here. So, yeah, it's a big deal. All right. So I cannot wait. Speaking of like these nudges and awakening yourselves and activating and training in your gifts, I cannot wait for Channeler of Light to start. If you have been wanting, if you feel like you have just this ability to communicate with spirit, or you desire it so much, then it's almost the same thing. I'm truly so excited to begin. We start mid-January. I believe it's going to be January 18th, but we're starting mid-January. The pre-sale, like I said, is on till the end of the week. To me, this is my way of helping, right? Like training people in their soul gifts, training people on how to communicate, because channeling will change everything. It will open you up to new worlds, new information like what I just brought through in this video, personal information about your own timeline and how to help, healing energies, activation energies. Channeling can bring through more than just info. It brings through the alignment, the healing, the activation, the frequency. Like, it's so powerful to have higher frequencies flow through your body. It will change your life. So if you're ready, I invite you. I mean, I would love to train you personally. I invite you to reach out, message me, email me, find me on Instagram, comment, do something, take an action today, and I will send you a nice message about what you can expect in the course, and then you can go from there. Okay, so I personally invite you to do that, and let me know. I mean, I know there was a lot in this video. It's probably long. I don't know how long it's been, but let me know how you feel about all of this. I know it's a lot. I know it's sensitive. I know it could potentially create fear, but it does not have to. It does not have to. I always knew that these 4 years that we're in the middle of right now were going to be big game changers, and that it was up to us to take responsibility for our personal timeline while also being leaders and helping the collective timeline. So if there needs to be a part 2, I will do a part 2. Okay. But these are the potentials. So, all right. So, and again, keep in mind as you're going about, there's probably going to be a lot of like noise right now about 2023. Let me do a reading for you. Watch this video of predictions. Let me just keep in mind, discernment. Is that person bringing through their information clean and ethically, like the way that I do with my channeling? And also keep in mind that one decision can completely alter a timeline, and then none of that is even in play anymore. Okay, so I do feel comfortable with what I've shared being like such a high potential, but I will just keep you up to date. And then I invite you to comment on this video and let me know what you think. Okay, I love you all. Let's enjoy the rest of our year and kind of go within and really start thinking about where you can take more responsibility for your frequency in your life. Coming into 2023 in an empowered way. We got to let go of the victim mentality. Victim mentality is a sleeping pill. Stop taking it and start taking responsibility. Okay. And I love you and I'm here for you and I want to help you with that. All right, my loves, we're going to leave it at that. So I want to remind you, listen to your heart and the quiet voice within, because you are so much more than the body you are in. I love you all. Have a beautiful Christmas, and I'll see you in the new year. Bye, everyone.